to be to the minute.
To the Download Youth Ministry Web Show. Doug Fields
Hey-o.
here with the Queen, as always, Katie Edwards. The host, no host, Josh Griffin.
Good to see you.
And the star of the show, Matt McGill.
In my own mind.
Episode number 235. It is an anniversary.
It's totally an anniversary.
It's a sad anniversary, or
No, it's been a great
I don't
bit. Look
think
at the
it's-
shirts.
that's true.
Boom. Sorry you got
Well,
canned.
and it's
Matt,
been a-
say it today.
That's right.
It's a 1 year
ago today. I was released from my position at Mariners.
The position was
Yeah,
terminated.
my
technically.
position was
yeah, thank you.
terminated.
That's not.
But I mean, surely they could have found another place for me. So I was
So
canned.
you got canned.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay,
Let's just
but
say
so-
sorry.
Sorry, you got canned.
One of the things that I always say, and I've said this for years, so you
Yes.
tell me if it's true or not, and I'll be okay if it's not true. But I say that usually a year later, the person's in a better position.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen that too, and I've said that. I mean, I totally believe that. I think in this situation, like I really saw myself doing high school ministry for a minimum of 6 years, and and all that stuff. But I will say that, and so I feel like that got cut short. And man, if I had my choice, if I could go back, I would say no. I'd love to still be there doing youth ministry. But all that's to say is that I mean, life is really good. Things are, I mean, I feel like this year has been a really good year of the new church that I'm at has been a fantastic experience and a learning experience and a new thing. And so yeah, I mean,
And
things
you're
are really
freed up
good.
to
Things are
lead
really
Download
good.
Youth Ministry, and
Freed up. Download Youth Ministry stuff has been like beyond exciting and fun with how many things are going on and
Cooking.
totally cooking. So it's just, I mean, it's hard for me to say because am I in a better spot? In a lot of ways, yeah. But I still wish I was doing high school ministry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Josh has got a spot open.
Yeah, I got a spot.
yeah, seriously, I'd love to do
I
that.
can afford
It's basically
about
a paid
1 day a
internship.
week.
That's
I
right.
have to pay for 4 hours a week.
That would be good. Okay, I'll take it.
Dude.
Now
well,
people
see,
ask me every once in a while. They're like, "Man, you guys are, you are brutal to each other. Is that a show that you guys put on?" And we say,
Yes and no. I mean, oh, sorry.
no. Go ahead.
Yes, as in we're brutal, and no, it's not a show.
No,
Then
I
yes,
say
and-
we are best of friends where we tease each other, but we're incredibly
Yeah.
encouraging. And
Yeah.
if anything happened to any of us, that person would be there in a second. But the sorry you got canned is
It's
like
just funny. I mean,
probably
it's-
for the three of us, if that happened to the three of us, we couldn't tease about
We
it.
would not joke about it the way we have with Matt.
Yeah,
That's
not
true.
a chance.
Which-
And we also, the three of us would not
Cry
have been
every
fired.
time.
So that's the other part.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, there's
That's
time.
true.
We're all going
still
down. Don't even worry
time.
about it.
No, I mean, here's the deal: is that the reality is that we are all good friends. We are all open and honest with stuff, and the reality is that we do encourage each other significantly,
Yeah.
huge, deeply. I mean,
I think we
and
encourage
when
Katie the most.
Yeah.
I feel very
Well,
encouraged by
Katie's the
this.
queen.
Yeah.
That's for
Best.
sure. But there's times, there's a few times that we go over the line, and it's like, hey, let's pull back on stuff on this, and we do,
Totally.
and we respect
Like we don't
each
talk about
other's.
your mother-in-law like we
We
used
don't
to.
do that. I mean, and
Yeah.
that was.
I mean,
yeah,
rewinders would know those
would totally
stories.
know what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But humor and teasing is definitely a part of how we heal too. Like
yeah.
I think
For sure.
whenever we're coming out of something, a lot of us jump to humor and
Yes.
teasing.
Well, and things can become a bit like immediately, like something that hurts an hour ago. You're like, rah, 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 and it's
Yeah.
it's funny now because it has
Just
to
like
be.
that.
Right. And it's a way of acknowledging. I mean, see, my one of my fears, in which one of the things I've tried to say over and over is that, hey, no, even though we're joking, this really did suck. I mean, we're not making
Right.
light of it
Exactly.
in the sense of saying denial
Right.
or
This didn't hurt.
minimizing
Yeah.
it. For our culture we've created, joking about stuff is a way to say, oh yeah, it totally did suck, but let's at least try and laugh at it,
Yeah.
because, I mean, really, it sucked, but it is funny, and it totally makes sense why it happened, and
And you're
there's
in a
no
good place
regrets.
now, and you
And
move
it's-
forward.
Yeah, a
and-
year later is a good
Tell
year.
everybody what your wife said about seeing it on the calendar.
Oh, it's so funny because I put it on my calendar. I've got a bunch of things, on my calendar.
Significant days.
Yeah,
Significant
first
stuff
kiss,
and whatever.
wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
When you started
Interestingly,
Day you became a man. Look,
when is that
hair.
so many
Put this
so
in
many
my
things.
Outlook.
The funny thing is so I have on my calendar got fired from Mariners or whatever, or it just says got fired. But I have that, but today's also my sister's birthday. I don't have my sister's birthday on my calendar.
Oh, no.
So, but
Totem McGill.
But yeah, so my wife, she texted me today and said, she says, I saw that on your calendar. Was that like your goal for Newport Mesa to get fired today? And I'm pretty sure she was joking, but maybe not.
You never know.
You could be two
Just
for two.
asking for clarity.
Hey,
Just-
Josh, why don't you, let's
Communication
start, I mean, we've obviously
Yeah.
started the show, but we always want to thank our sponsors, because we wouldn't be doing this without our sponsors.
We do.
Because this
Actually,
show
we
is,
would be doing this without a
well, here's the deal.
We did
our
for a
show
long
we
is,
did for 4 years.
I know, but our show is growing, and it's costing a lot of money to
Yeah.
put the, on, you were just
Yeah,
talking
no, it
about
does.
Well, and
every time somebody,
Katie's time to get Katie here,
just
we
to
had
get
to do
Katie.
something.
Katie's the
Talent.
highest
The
paid
talent
person
here,
at
you
this
gotta-
table. That's
yeah,
right.
True.
Right.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
we are grateful.
Thankful for
the
YS Youth Specialties. We're going to be at team training in just a
Yeah.
couple weeks, which will be a lot of fun.
YSTeamtraining.com.
Yeah, go to
That's
any
right.
of those events, 10 of them all across the U.S.
I saw a tweet today that said, Kansas City, can I take Josh and Doug out to lunch?
And did you reply
I saw that too.
I haven't
yes?
replied yet, but I will.
The answer is yes, as long as it's Outback, which we just came
We
from
just came
today.
from
We
Outback.
went to
That's
Outback, the
Team
best.
training, which for $100 you can bring as many people from your church as you want.
Or 500.
Oh,
no, it's not
$3.99.
500.
$3.99. But that's
There you
such a
go.
great deal.
It
to
is
bring-
a great deal.
It
Bring up to
is,
15
yeah.
people.
Just
But-
bring people from other churches.
So thank
Charge
you.
them more.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you can
Sign
make a
up-
little money on
sign
it
up
as
for
a
the
youth
deal.
Side
youth
deal.
specialist
Broker.
affiliate.
Side deal.
Youth training broker.
That's right.
I like
There you
it.
go. All right.
Also
We're selling
thankful
brownies for missions.
to
trips.
Azusa Pacific University. They almost burned down this week. Did you guys see how close the fires came? They came
This
close.
is so big, you couldn't. It would take more than
Yeah.
one fire.
A little part of it almost burned down,
Yeah.
but they're fine.
Yeah, the old gym.
Thankful to Leader Treks,
The gym to-
the refuel retreats. I just got an email from them about the refuel retreats, how cool those are. So make sure you check them out.
Are you going to go this year to that, or is Katie going?
I don't know.
Neither.
Well, I
Katie's
need to
asked.
be- I
Katie's
need to
asked to
play.
go. They're February, April, and
I mean,
April
they're
and
really
May.
small too. Like they cap the number.
It's cool.
Of who
Yeah,
could
Doug
go.
Franklin was
access.
telling Josh and I about it at lunch at the Youth Specialties Conference.
I was
in
ready to
November.
sign up right there.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
and
You guys
what-
both have the same initials.
DF.
Doug
yeah.
Franklin, Doug
Doug
Fields. That's true.
Think his middle name is
And
Montgomery?
Youth Ministry 360. Thank you to YM360, our friends Les, Andy, etc. over there. Great stuff. Check out their Jesus series, especially. Very cool small group
It's a
curriculum
whole
right now.
year's worth of
Is
curriculum.
that the
Yeah.
catalog?
You can
Also
buy
everyone
different
should-
modules.
This is the catalog that I'm a little disappointed that Josh didn't get us in, but
It
that's
was
all
a-
right. No
it was
big
a
deal.
lapse in
Nope.
judgment.
Yep. No big deal. No big deal.
Slash, someone's running this company while running a youth ministry. Well, these two just poke around, do nothing. Matt's
You
fired.
are the hardest working person in youth
You
ministry.
really are.
Talk
But I
about
do what I
Katie.
can.
We're
I do
all,
what
we
I
all
can.
look up to you.
Oh, shut it. So that's it. Those are our sponsors. There's always room for more.
What about Leader Treks? You didn't say.
Yeah,
they're-
he did.
Refuel retreats.
Oh yeah, we did.
Pay attention,
You know what? When I just
please.
think Leader Treks, I just always smile because of.
You even talked about you and Doug Franklin, and I.
I
said
know.
the
I'm
same.
sorry. I'm sorry. I was
Well,
just
we
thinking.
only-
I was
there's so
thinking
much
about the
more.
membership that
Yeah.
they are such a
Oh,
big
they
part
are.
of our DYM membership. Joe Kenke.
Okay, here we go.
Kenncke.
Kinsey.
He says, "Is there a time you do the show live? I'd love to catch and interact via questions." Executive producer Seth Bartlett here, who's buttoning his T-shirt to the top.
Yeah.
Top.
It's a good look.
No, it's a
Flannel.
You
Pelton.
can't button a t-shirt.
Flannel to the top.
It's actually 85 degrees.
It's a button-down
and he's
shirt
wearing a
that he's buttoned all the way up.
flannel, buttoned all the way up. He's trying a new look. I told him he looks like Erwin McManus. Google that. But we actually, Parker, who kind of has screwed up several of our podcasts, is out sick
Yeah.
today.
The
We
Lord
gave
has
him the flu
smitten
virus.
him.
We're actually
Yeah.
thanking God for it.
Smited.
But what do you
Smoted.
think about that live show?
I think we
Seth?
should do it. I think it's always fun. We probably have to pick a time though that's good for all time zones. You know, we have to shoot during early in the day, so folks on
Yeah,
the East
we
Coast-
don't know what is a good time for everybody. So if you're a regular, if you're
Yeah,
a
let us know.
rewinder, if you're a DYM member, let us know.
Yeah.
What time works? We're Pacific Standard Time. So and none of us are morning people.
Nope.
Matt
Usually.
might kind of be.
I hate the mornings.
So every show is recorded live. It varies usually. Sometimes it's early afternoon, late afternoon,
In case you
Wednesday,
couldn't
Thursday,
tell,
Friday.
it's recorded live.
Yeah, no editing. Well, he asked, is there a time when it's recorded live?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Every
fun.
time we
Look
record
at you
one.
holding somebody to the what they
Gotcha.
say.
But it is a little random of when we actually, whatever, get together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically whenever
How's
Katie.
YouthPastorDiet.com
It's going good.
I thought about that when you leaned over in that tight T-shirt of yours.
Sorry.
Where's the
I'm third
encouragement?
place right now, youthpastordiet.com.
Bronze medal.
And had a really nice double salad steak lunch today.
You had 2 salads today, didn't
And a
you?
little bit of bloomin' onion.
That's great.
That's good.
2
So yeah,
salads.
doing okay. YouthPastorRod.com. I'm fighting 75 other youth workers for the Biggest Loser-ish
Ooh,
title.
what place am I in?
You didn't sign up.
Yeah, why don't you get on that
I
thing?
didn't wanna
I
be
know you don't
last.
have a weight problem, but it,
Just to
I don't
encourage
have a
other
weight
youth
problem, I have
workers
an
who
eating
might.
is
problem.
that what it is?
Yeah.
You're fine with the weight?
Yeah.
I don't have a weight problem. I have an eating problem. Okay.
Well,
That's a great line.
New T-shirt.
Seriously. I'll take 2.
Eric
2XL.
Upton, take note.
Yeah,
That's right.
We'll take a 3XL from Matt. Sorry.
Zach Wolf from Monticello Christian Church in Monticello,
Oregon.
Indiana.
Indiana.
Monticello. I thought that was up by Santa Barbara.
I think there's a Montecito.
Monticello.
Both. There's both.
The Count of Monticello.
He writes,
Sandwich?
Matt, sorry you got canned. Hey everyone, I'm a
Still.
DYM member and a rewinder. Love listening to you guys, and it might be the best part of my work day.
Might be.
Wow.
Might be.
Better than prepping in the
your
Lord
job
for
must
your
suck.
messages.
Zach, if this is the best part.
Yeah, hang in there, dude.
Maybe he's like Griffin. He exaggerates a little bit.
I have 2 questions that need your wisdom. First, I just got married in November. My wife is now
Way to go.
volunteering in both our junior high and high school ministry. My
Excellent.
question is, how much do I share with her when she asks about my day? Do I share with her as much as I
she can
would
handle.
another volunteer, or do I share everything with her, or somewhere in between? We've answered this a few times,
Yeah.
so let's
That's a good
go.
question.
Let's go short on this
All
one
right.
because he's a rewinder.
I say spill your guts. It's
Yeah.
your wife. It's your spouse. They're part of you. They're part of the ministry. I think she will have to, develop a discernment on how much to say and share and how it colors her interaction with those other people. But yeah, I think you need someone that you can be vulnerable with and not just dump on, but fill them in.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't treat her like another volunteer.
Right.
Was that one of the lines? Do I just tell her
Nope.
as much?
As you tell another volunteer. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to rescind that answer?
No. Do I share with her as much
Right.
as I would another volunteer, or do I share everything with her?
Yeah.
Not tell her.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, share.
That's good. Share, tell.
Yeah, me and
There's a
Josh are
big
getting real
difference.
specific on words.
Here you
I
go.
love it.
I'm gonna answer for you. I share everything with my wife. She is my partner. Sometimes she tells me I'm an idiot. Sometimes she tells me, "Man, you just stand up." Sometimes most of the time she just says, "You're doing a great job. I'm learning so much from you right now." She never says that. You're like, is that the same Angela I know?
This is funny.
No, I mean, I think it's such a
Okay, but what-
bonding. It's a good thing.
Okay, but what about the dark side, the crappy side? Like, do you really share all the junk of ministry? Do you bring it home
No.
with your spouse?
I think you do filter it.
That's part of the question here. It is possible to overshare and take that
Yes.
from a person who
think so.
has excelled in that.
Has
right?
no filter.
I have a master's degree in oversharing. I mean, I don't even need the internet. Everyone just knows what's going on. But
Yeah.
the reality is that, yeah, you could say too much. I mean,
Sure.
I think with my husband, I definitely think I'm a little bit, there's part of me that is
spoiled because Ron's the greatest person in the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm very Christian.
Preach.
He also has a little bit. He's very protective of me. So there are times where I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
ministry world and relationships and conflict moves a lot quicker than our communication can be at times. So sometimes if I spill, and then the next day I resolve everything, but I don't circle back around and help
Yeah.
him.
He's on the warpath.
This is
He's-
why we pay her so much
He's-
money.
Yeah.
It puts him in a tough place because I work with friends of his and people that he serves with and stuff. So I definitely think for me, I like to be real intentional about ministry conversations with him. I obviously want to share stuff, struggles, things like that. But I also have ministry friends to process stuff with as well. And so I would maybe process something with you guys ministry-wise maybe before Ron, and I don't think that that's like disrespecting him or keeping him out of the loop, but a lot of times I'll bring him in like, I had this conversation, start processing it, and bring him in kind of
Yeah.
when, and that's just to protect him a little bit relationally, because I don't want his relationships to be affected. I don't keep anything from him, but there's just, with different
Yeah.
situations, different times I bring him into the process. So.
Good.
Which I think he appreciates too, because he knows that our relationship and our bond, his role is, obviously protector and, of me. And so he knows that he can get a little bit like, hold things against people or stuff like that. And so it just, I
That's
think
good.
it helps. So,
Kathy says that when she does her youth pastors' wives deal. she says that Doug will bring something up and get me all fired up. Then he'll go resolve it the next day and not tell me that he resolved it.
You're still
so
doing it.
I'm
Yeah.
still carrying that with him, and so you
Yep.
know that's just obviously a clarity and communication deal. And we've talked about here, or here's kind of my other 2 cents on this. I think you've got to remember that your spouse still goes to church there, and so there are some times when, and I learned this, you know, the hard way in 30 years of marriage, but that there are some times that I don't think you want to tell everything about what's happening at the church so that your spouse can still go to church there and, you know, listen, you know, because every leader is going to let you down. I don't care how good of a leader you are, you're going to let somebody
You never
down.
let us down.
Well, thank you, but you're lying. Every leader lets you down. The question is how much do they let you
I
down?
let down often as much as possible.
And so,
It's great.
so there's going to be times when you're going to be hurt or wounded and that type of thing at church. And I think that's where it's also safe to have somebody outside that you could process. You know, for me, it was Jim Burns, who didn't go to our church. I wasn't being
Absolutely.
divisive.
Yeah.
You know, he has a mentor role in my life. I could tell him some things, and I go, okay, I don't have to process that with Kathy because it's just going to
Absolutely.
taint her opinion when she sits there Sunday morning, and you know, so.
Cool. Good question. though. I love that.
Zach also asks, and this is just a
Secondly, 2 questions.
quick one.
Wow.
Wow.
Is we're trying to take ministry to the next level with technology. What programs would you recommend to create videos, such as announcements, countdown, other things? What about graphics that we use for teaching? What
Windows
would
Movie
you
Maker.
recommend?
Yeah, good questions. I'm just going to rattle off some.
You take
what did
it,
you
Josh.
say? Windows.
Windows Movie Maker.
For most of your video needs, honestly, you can just use iMovie. It comes free on Macs and all that now.
Yeah.
It really legitimately does about everything that you need. You can learn it quick. Students probably already know how to use it. For graphics, there's some great web graphics places now. Just Google like Photoshop online, and it will actually give you some free websites that you let you do photo editing and all that
Pixel.
stuff
What's
as
it
well.
in the App Store? Pixelmator.
Pixel Maker, is it?
Pixel something. Pixelator or something like that is a good.
You know,
It's a
why,
good replacement.
Why spend time making it? My thought was go
yeah.
to DYM. We have countdowns for $3.
Countdowns,
You become a
videos.
member. You get stuff every month.
And the graphics on series are thrown in as well.
They're
So
unbelievable.
it's honestly really, really easy. Just a few other things. We use duffled.com to text students. That's a great piece of technology that
I
saves you a lot
pack
of
in
time.
that.
You what?
I pack in that.
In a duffled bag?
That's 2 from Katie.
Yeah, wow.
One at
Dude,
lunch
thumbs
and one
down.
now.
Yep.
Sorry.
And I like Pull Everywhere as well if you want to do like text to screen stuff or voting real time with phones. Both of those are really brilliant pieces of technology. Help you update you, real current
And we
things.
partner on some of that. Like we use the same
Yeah.
text messaging system, so parents and students are familiar with that for the whole time they're in our ministry. So it's
Exactly.
a good
Share
thing
the
to
accounts on a
partner
lot of that.
on, Share
Yeah.
the account.
If you
yeah.
check our blog, honestly,
Yeah.
on DYM,
Yeah,
Down
you
in
guys have so
Ministries,
much stuff like that.
Every week there's something new
Yeah.
Us.
related
We're in
to
this
that.
together.
Sorry,
Us
we have
guys.
so much stuff
Did you know
together.
she has a new resource coming out? Not this week, but next week. Impact. Remember how we've talked about the Impact Station
Yeah,
here on the show?
Excited about that.
It's
Yeah.
coming out.
I know, I'm
It's
excited
Katie
too.
For student leadership.
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
excited.
Gonna be
Hey,
excellent.
what was the deal?
I'm glad I'm hearing about this now. since
It'll be
I'm
in Dropbox.
responsible to get
Oh,
this
you're
on schedule.
responsible?
Was I supposed to tell you that?
No, you were
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
say
No.
it's all Josh.
Here's the deal, Katie. There's some authors that supersede Matt
Yeah.
and just go
No,
straight to the
you
top.
were right with Josh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, straight
Who's the
to top.
Who's the top?
Katie. Anything she creates doesn't have to wait in the pipeline.
No, it doesn't. There's no way
And
to wait.
next
Yeah.
question.
Oh, gosh.
Steve Spence, who's one of our best-selling authors,
Yeah.
wrote. I saw some tweet about watching the podcast with closed caption. Was it?
Yes,
Jerry
that's
Varner.
true.
Oh, was it
Jerry
Jerry
Varner
Varner that
said
did
that.
that?
There were some other
Okay.
people, yeah. So if
Jerry
you,
Varner is very funny.
He
our
is.
show
He's
is
a
in
great guy.
iTunes where most people get
Haven't
it.
had
Oh,
much-
Spence was making fun of he had like Fields' pit stains and
Yeah, it was rough.
okay.
I'm trying to bring it up for you just
No,
for your own
that's all right.
self-esteem.
How's it doing today?
Better.
Okay.
Better.
I can see
CrossFit.
anything with
Thank
those
you.
stripes.
The
The stripes.
and then
Those
if you,
muscles
our show
make
is
it impossible
also
not to sweat.
Our show is also in YouTube, and on YouTube there's a closed captioning feature where it uses their computer algorithms, whatever, to spit out the words it thinks you're saying, and it is hilarious.
No
it's
way.
about
Really?
35% right.
What's
and
this
about
website? YouTube?
YouTube.com.
Just
It's also in their technology list, and it's hilarious.
website
It's
for
really
kids are
bad.
using?
This new thing.
It's really
the
bad. You
youths-
got to watch it.
The youths are using
The
around
youths?
the globe YouTube.
And subscribe to the Twitter feed Doug's Guns because
Because that'll be live by the time
it'll
this
be
goes.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic.
Yep. Matt's ego, Josh's calves, and Doug's guns.
What do they have in
What would Katie's be? We got everything.
Nothing.
No.
Just let me be.
Beauty.
hotness?
Platinum youth worker.
Thank you.
Done.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Wes Henson from First Baptist Church, Bronte, Texas.
Yeah.
Is West or West?
Wes. His first episode was Talk Like a Pirate Day episode, so rewinding only meant 28 or 29 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're a rewinder now and you enter in now and become a
life
rewinder,
is
Pretty intense.
no, I mean that's
Yeah,
a serious
that's a
commitment. That's like we ought to put your picture in the office here. Rewinder and DYM member. Sorry, you got Can, Matt. I have a relatively young group, with the core being freshmen. I took
freshmen.
6 kids to Student Leadership Conference this summer.
Cool.
5 incoming freshmen and 1 incoming sophomore. This is a little more philosophical, but how do you plan
Everything's philosophical.
and lead in the now with an eye on the future? In other words, what's the balance between, quote, let them grow up and help them grow now? Is it a matter of understanding their development and working with that? I feel like my church has a culture of kids will be kids that is presenting them from growing in a way I would hope. I don't want to set the bar so low now that it stunts their growth. Thanks for all you do. Love the membership. It was hard to break the news to my kids that Student Leadership wasn't coming back to Texas. They loved it. And
ouch.
it was hard for us to go to Texas and not have many kids show up. Wes. So,
Come to
I skipped that
Cali.
one.
Come to
Yeah.
Cali.
Knew it wasn't gonna work.
California.
That was an interesting conference. No, I mean, I felt like there was enough kids in the room, but
Yeah, no, I'm
it was
kidding.
interesting.
StudentLeadershipConference.com if you want to go this year. Go.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. This is a great question because you know, in essence, it's how do you disciple somebody, or what does it take to move somebody to be more like Jesus? And that is a great question. It's when you pose how do you let kids be kids, or do I help grow them up, or the first 2 options that you showed or that you talked about was the being present and thinking about the future. So those are good. It's a great question. Very tough without talking about a particular situation or a particular because I think that it requires discernment and it goes either way. So that being said, I think it's a great question, but I also
Speaking
think
of
thank
guns.
you. But I also think it's hard to answer specifically to what you're asking. I think personally, and obviously I mean this seriously, even though it's also silly too. But I mean, I think you push people as hard as you can push them. And what I mean by that is you push them as hard as you can. You don't want to push them away. You don't want to make them cry. You don't want to make them, hate the church. I mean, I'm not saying you're a drill sergeant and you're training these people, to endure beyond all, whatever. Just saw that Navy SEAL movie, whatever.
Lone Survivor?
Yeah, great.
Spoiler alert.
No, it's a great
Lone
movie.
Survivor.
Yes. that's easy. That's an easy joke.
As long as I get him, that's all that matters.
No, yeah.
Should have been called Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's right. But so I'm not saying like when my phrase or my idea that you push people as hard as you can. I mean that you've built relationship with some students. You push those guys as hard as you can. You've earned the right to be heard. Well, now it's time to say something and go. You say you have
As
a
long
new.
as it's authentic in that,
Yeah.
I'm just get tired of. Just heard about another one this week of youth pastors flaming out that they're not living their life, and so
Yeah.
I think when you're living it, you tend to have a little more grace with how you push and nudge. I mean, that is sanctification is the process of becoming more like Jesus. So
Right.
we enter into their becoming, and we help them to become more like Jesus, as opposed to when you begin to see kids status quo,
Yeah.
not doing anything with their faith. So I'm a little resistant to push them as hard as just that.
But that's why I'm trying to qualify that.
Yeah, I was just trying to speed it up a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but which you can't really do in discipleship. But
But you
like,
can with answers.
True, but like here's how this plays out in my own life. Is that just last weekend I was at church, and in the back green room was a guy that was there who had been at church for a while, but he'd been gone for a little bit, and then shown up, and he kind of sparked a conversation, and I don't know him very well, but he just was talking and going through divorce and this, and some people in the church don't like him, and and he just was talking about some things, and then he said he'd been going to church for a long time, and then he had said, oh, well, I just needed to accept the fact that they can think whatever they want to think, and then he was ready to move on and go on. Well, that sounds nice, but it's ridiculous. This is what thinking inside, but what I said to him, I go, so you mean, have you forgiven them yet? And then he kind of stops. He's like, well, I don't, I just need to let them be who they are. And I go, well, no, they've obviously hurt you.
Yeah.
So now that's a process of becoming more like Christ. I mean, in your language. And I didn't know that guy really well, but obviously he had settled for less. He had settled for, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to walk past him. I'm just going to polite conversation. I'm going to allow the bitterness to be there. I couldn't stand for that.
So you're saying discipleship is looking for opportunities when they're freshmen or when they're seniors to nudge them towards Jesus and know that they're going to get there. And when you see them and you have that platform, that voice with them, give them the nudge. So this guy, you gave him the nudge towards
Yeah.
forgiveness.
Yeah.
Next time you interact with him, you'll be looking again, constantly pushing
Right.
people towards being
I
like
can go back to a point in my spiritual journey as a teenager, 17 years old. Doug Webster, who was one of the interns at the church at the time, I can remember him pulling me aside and said to me, "Do you tithe?"
Wow.
Just straight out. And I was like, well, I don't really make any. I mean, I guess I have a job, and it was that full on, in my face,
Yeah.
kind of caught me in some
But
ways.
you guys had been working together?
Well, he was an intern. I was junior in high school. Had been following
it was
Christ for a
before you
couple
started
years.
working together, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 17 years old, but I still remember that was a like, oh wait, and we had a conversation.
Yeah.
And it altered the direction of my faith.
And to this day, still kind of working on that
Well,
one.
I'm struggling.
So, yeah.
But
see, you
I
use the
think
word
that's a
nudge.
huge principle, though, too, is you
Absolutely.
being
Yeah.
connected in relationship. And I think with your students, I think you can think long term and plan and what you hope an end result would be for your group collectively. Like, I think it's good to plan and goal set and maybe even think of some ways that you think you might get there. But ultimately, discipleship is, so connected to relationship. That's the model that we have. So, individually, who are these students connected to? As freshmen, they can be discipled
Yeah.
and but through someone, it's going to be way more powerful than you just being
stranger.
upfront trying to disciple them as a whole. So I think there's definitely collective and corporate discipleship that takes place within church,
Yeah.
but then there's great individual mentoring that needs to happen too. So,
You got to have high expectations, but your expectations cannot be separate from having a ton of grace. I mean, don't let people settle for less. But when they fail, you have to be filled with, hey, that's okay, and I make mistakes too, and God loves us and forgives us. And it's like when you have these high expectations, but there's not any of that. Even when there is relationship, that doesn't grow people. That just teaches people how to be fake.
the only thing I found with junior high and maybe even freshmen a little bit is I think there are times where we as adults want to bring students to exactly where we're at or what we're learning, and I think that can encourage a student things that we're learning, but I also think it is important to remember where they're at.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of our younger students are, not necessarily grasping some of the most simple parts of our faith and able to articulate their salvation, able to articulate their identity in Christ and some of those things. So it's okay too to sometimes teach things that maybe you've taught a few times, some of just the most basic things of what we believe with with every age. But,
Yeah.
it is good to remember that freshmen, make sure that your freshmen really understand the basics before you can kind of take them on a deeper
Yeah.
journey. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to remember in discipleship as well, is where are they at?
They're
good.
fundamentals. I mean, that's
Good. Our buddy Mark Eads, who under his description says just a middle school guy.
No such thing.
He loves that hook, too.
I love him. He's great.
He loves the what?
He loves that little hook, like just a middle school
He's
guy.
saying
Just a middle school guy.
emails. He's wonderful.
I'll tell you what,
He's
I've read
good.
some of these emails. The sign-offs are so ridiculous that it just makes me embarrassed for all Christians everywhere.
Stop
It
it.
is. I'm
Until
not going
he
to list
comes.
anybody. I'm just going to say,
Do you even know? Can
Serving
you
the
put
Lord
names
together. In
Oh,
his
something.
grip.
Yeah? Who?
no.
I'm not sure you can. I like that you brought your own little
I did.
pad
Fadi
here.
brought this for me. This is really nice.
Oh, my friend Fadi.
That's right.
My friend Fadi. He says, we found
Anyhow,
that in
back to the podcast.
our area that kids are very involved in many extracurricular activities. No surprise for you guys, I'm sure. We've also found that if at least one of our volunteers goes and watches one of our kids' extracurricular activity and are seen by that kid, it has big payoff. Again, no surprise. The issue is we can't get a very good grasp of when the middle schoolers' extracurricular activities are.
We need a ECA or something, acronym.
Extracurricular activities.
Yeah,
Yeah, to speed it up.
it's just a mouthful.
Yeah. Even listening to it, since you're not reading it.
Oh gosh.
No, it's a mouthful to say, to
Which
listen. I'm
Causes
feeling
us
for
to
you.
miss.
I'm here for you right now.
I'm feeling for our audience right now.
I appreciate your
Thank you,
empathy.
great Marquise.
Yeah.
Did you think I was not for you?
I don't know what to think.
We'll see you
Glenn.
next time.
Yeah. It says, not sure when they are, these ECAs, so it causes us to miss many of the ECAs. I want to solve this issue, but each solution we've tried has failed horribly.
Oh.
Kids thinking they're going to see a volunteer, then the volunteer doesn't show up, bad for relationships.
yeah.
I could explain all the different ways we've tried, but for the sake of your time and Matt's patience, do you have any ways that have seemed to work for you and your team to find out about and to get some of the middle schoolers ECAs?
Wow.
Yeah.
ECA worked in that, didn't it?
That was impressive.
It really
Yeah, it
did.
did, man.
Great
Legitimately.
job.
Wow. I take back
Both
everything
of
bad
you.
I've ever said about you in the last 10 minutes.
I would
Thank you.
love for you to prep the show.
And thought, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
One of the ways that we like to do it, rather than talk to a specific student and honestly get their hopes up that for sure you're going to be there this Tuesday,
Yeah.
is just get a schedule for the whole season. So if they're like, okay, it's 7th grade girls
Yeah,
lacrosse,
yeah.
let's get that schedule and post it on the bulletin board somewhere.
You could
and-
also probably get it from the website without even actually
and the school
asking them,
calendar
you know.
online is really helpful for sports stuff.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I mean, I feel a little bit of this pain too, because we'll all of a sudden see, on the billboard as you go by, the school, and it says, whatever, drama production tonight at 7:00 or sold out. And I didn't even know that was happening. And so I honestly can relate a little bit to the what students are where and juggling of it.
Yeah.
So there's a couple tips that have worked for us, but we're still in the thick of this.
You
I'm
know
not
what
good at
Kathy
this.
Fields did many, many years ago that I just still think is a simple but genius way
Is that your daughter or your wife?
My
Just
wife.
because there's insider talk.
there is. I have a daughter who's in youth
Can we get an
ministry.
acronyms for Kathy Fields? Can we just call her?
CF.
Thank you. That'll
CF.
help.
So
Let's talk about CF the other
when
day.
CF would talk to her kids about ECAs,
Can't even do it with a straight face. That's how good it is.
no, I did it.
How
And then
good
when
it is.
Josh started laughing, I went, okay, that was good. Is that she would say, hey, tell me, have little cards for them. Give me 3 things
Yeah.
that you're doing this semester.
That's
and I
great.
promise I won't be at all of them, but I'll be at
Yeah,
I'll
setting
be
the
at one of them.
expectation early is key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think that's simple. It's done in the context of a small group. It's
beautiful.
Then it puts the pressure on the kid to list the three things.
Mm-hmm.
Then Kathy's only got to be at one of them, and if you're a good youth worker, you wind up combining. I'm going to take this kid that's in my group as we go sit
To
at this
that game,
I do
right? Yeah, that's
That's
great.
totally what I do.
Yeah.
I think for junior high, it's good to email parents. Find a parent on maybe, the couple of middle schools that you draw from. Maybe find one parent that could kind of be your eyes and ears. There's a lot of really
Yeah.
involved parents with the school. So I know a couple parents at each school that we draw from that I can always kind of go, hey, do you know what's going on with this? Or, so that's always nice. And then we give our small group leaders something similar that Kathy gives her girls. And then we email that to parents as well. Because in junior high, parents rule
Yeah.
the calendar more than students. So I find that students sometimes invite me to things and then they don't have any details or they give me the wrong time or so it when I'm
Yeah.
only communicating with the student, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Flaky.
But the parents are, they're the ruler of the junior high schedule, so they're a great
good.
resource for you. So I would
Is that that
utilize
little-
them a little bit more.
That little piece of paper that says your favorite candy bars on it? No.
It just says like what's happening,
Yeah,
and then there's little blanks and stuff. Yeah,
I remember one that it asked a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that we would use, small group leaders would use maybe at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah, a little profile.
And the profile, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And it had a bunch of things on there, so it wasn't a hey, just tell me what you're involved in, and so
Yeah,
that it would
totally.
create this expectation. But I
Yeah.
remember looking at it as an intern going, why do we care what their favorite candy bar is? And it was, well, if you know what it is, then you could give it to them, and you give somebody what they like. And
Totally.
I was totally introduced to the concept that you would have one candy bar you like more than the other. eat all candy bars.
Yeah.
Almond Joy.
So-
You figured that?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
You
So-
like all candy bars?
Those are great things because
How do you not like a candy bar? My kids get sent to timeout when
Fruity
they say they
stuff.
don't like a candy bar.
oh please.
Raise them like wolves.
That's right.
The T-shirt.
I'm on a no sugar kick.
Okay.
Today is a month and 1 day.
Way to go.
And
Good
thank
job.
you. But I went to, I spoke at Salvation Army yesterday in Santa Cruz, and there was from Salvation Army people from Hawaii to Denver. It was the West Coast deal,
Wow.
and they
Cool.
gave me a speaker's packet, like one of those bags.
Was it awesome?
Full of sugar.
Oh my gosh. And it was one of those deals where I actually had to pour it. I poured it on the table in the hotel, not even take it to the hotel room. Like when you go to the elevator and you have the
Put it in
computers.
the ashtray.
No, I put it by the computers where you can print out your flights and stuff like that. So I printed out my flight for the
Business
next day,
center.
and I just threw it.
Just gifted
laid,
the computer
I laid it
people.
all on the computer center, and it was all stuff
Computers,
that I
thank you.
just loved. So the next morning, I went down, I pass it, and I look, and it had been totally picked through. Nobody cleaned it up, but like all the
Yeah.
Wrapper
all the
and
good
stuff.
stuff. Take it.
What does this have to do with the ECAs?
you should know what candy bars are. But it did make me think about
That's it. That's the connection.
about Matt Lawson is coming out with a sweet new product.
Yeah.
With it's going to be a volunteer startup
Hopefully not
kit.
in pub format. There you go.
All right, but it's going to be a volunteer startup kit.
Yeah, love it.
You and I talked about. I mean, that was just came
Oh, he
spontaneously.
emailed that. Yeah, I got it 2 days ago.
Yeah, we're gonna. Matt's one of those that we put straight to the top because
Yeah,
his
he
stuff
just
is,
goes right past Matt McGill, right to the top, just like Kathy. Or
Kathy.
Wow.
Katie. K-E, as we call her.
Totally.
Do we want to give a discount code?
Yeah,
today?
okay, here, we're gonna make it up right now.
Should we
If-
say how
What?
much off? Let's do a percent off.
Let's do something crazy.
30% off is crazy.
33% off.
That's a good
Let's up
coupon.
it. 33%. If you use the promo code podcast33, you can take 33% off of
Matt's new product.
any product by Matt McGill
And
for
Matt
the
Lawson.
next. And Matt Lawson.
Any
Okay.
Matt,
No,
any
no,
Matt
no, we got-
product.
Too much for Matt Lawson.
No, you could do anything. 33, anything from.
Anything from Matt McGill
You
for the
think
next
33% is too
37
good of a
days.
deal?
7 days.
33.
Well, and for the
33 days?
33.
Okay, it's a
No,
secret
we should
code.
make it a founder special. Anything from any of us. 33%
The
off.
founders.
All right. So now it's
just for this.
podcast
I know.
33.
It's
We're not promoting this just now.
And you can figure whatever you put in the cart, we'll see if it works on it.
33.
But for
No,
sure,
Well,
Matt
you
stuff.
could do authors.
All right, Matt, Josh, and Doug.
Yeah.
33 days.
33 days.
And you should buy Matt Lawson's volunteer thing.
Yeah, you
know
should
it's
just
not-
buy his
price.
full
But
price.
you don't get that.
But it's
Okay,
not, it's
done.
not. That's not up yet. So if you look.
Well, it
for
will be by the time this show gets up. Actually, we're faster now. The last show was up right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, no,
This will be up right away.
There has been conversation today at lunch.
People.
everyone,
Audience. Yeah.
Is
Are you talking to our
conversation-
team out there?
Yeah, talking to the team about a 30-minute show,
Yeah.
and that we might come record 2 of them, so that they're up more.
Would we
tight
wear 2
banter,
different
go.
shirts so it's totally fake?
Absolutely. I'd wear Sorry You Got Canned and then this one.
Okay. We should all switch shirts, or at least you and I should switch shirts. That'd be great.
I noticed I repeat outfits though when I was on the blog, so I'm gonna try
That's
to change
beautiful.
it up.
when you're on the blog.
From week to
Well,
week
looking
or
at
every
all
other
the,
week.
Oh,
the
yeah.
screenshot of all of them or whatever, the front shot.
I
was
see,
like,
mostly
need to
because
change
I
it up a
wear
little.
APU stuff. I don't
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, you're just APU every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
It just
I think
APU
you
and
should
pit
start wearing a
stains.
wife beater shirt.
Hey, that's derogatory. I don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
What do you call those things? Tank
White.
tops?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
white
I think you
tank
start
tops.
wearing white undershirt tank tops.
All right.
WT.
I will. One more question.
Right? White undershirt.
Or should we
tank
close it
top.
up right
There's no
now?
trouble with that.
At this point, I mean, what?
I have to go to the bathroom so bad.
I do too. That
that
green
is-
tea.
Yeah.
Running.
You 3 want to
Mental
finish up
weakness.
with this one?
Just do one more. Make it
Okay.
make it
How
kind
about
of a
Katie and I'll
softball.
finish it off? You guys get out of here.
Okay,
You guys
great.
go to
That
the
seems
bathroom.
I'll come right back, but you guys, here we go. I'll read it. You guys answer it, and then Matt, Josh, and I'll come back. And here's what we'll
No,
do.
we'll close the show before you get
no,
out of
we'll
here.
play a game. We'll come back and we will point.
game.
We will point counterpoint to what you guys said.
Got it. Oh, I hope
What
it's
does
a
that
good
mean,
one.
point
You
counterpoint? You're
just
going to
watch.
argue with us?
Debate.
No, we'll just argue with one another. I'll take your side. He'll take yours.
take
You
the
gotta
right
know
side.
our sides.
That's part of the bid.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
So I'm run. Here he goes. Hi guys, Matt. Sorry you got canned from the show.
1 year anniversary.
This is DYM member JD Miller from Kimberly City, Missouri. Seth, whoa.
Seth,
You mean flannel button to the top,
I
Seth?
didn't get canned from the show.
Seth just
Seth
like woke
mentioned.
He did. What?
Seth mentioned a few weeks back on the episode of The Worst Volunteers that making the pitch on stage to the congregation did not lead him to the best volunteers. The question is, what is your approach to recruiting volunteers? What characteristics do you look for in these potential leaders?
Ready?
Oh,
You guys take it.
wow.
I don't think we
What
can beat their
characteristics?
Do you want to move?
I know
right
we're
here?
going to be very similar.
question.
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna be done before the time they get back.
Let's turn the podcast off.
This is the.
This is
know.
beautiful. I can't believe they had to go use the restroom.
I know this is weird.
It's the weakest thing ever.
Why don't you start?
I'll
Answer
start.
the question.
Okay, so what are the characteristics you look for? I think that that one, the best way to do it is not an announcement. I mean, I think that helps you just a little bit. If you're going to do an announcement, I think you got to do it a bunch of weeks in a row. Is that realistic? Probably not from the pulpit, but to have something in the bulletin, to have something regularly in there, that helps, but not very much. What we used to do, what Doug used to do from the beginning of time, was that every year we would challenge every one of our volunteers that they had to find at least one other person, and so
that's a
to
good
just
way to do
keep that at the forefront of everybody, so that they know, hey, this is what we expect, this is what we need. One-on-one asking is the best way to get somebody involved. I had an idea at the end of my time at Mariners that we never did because I got canned, but is that I wanted to empower students to ask people to be leaders
Yeah.
in the ministry. And so what we were going to do is just create a half sheet that said, hey Bob, I think you'd be a great leader in the youth ministry because you are,
Yeah.
and then have a bunch of great attributes because you're humble, you're funny, you're
I think
wise.
students are great,
know.
are a great resource for
Yeah.
who's great. Even students who love other kids' parents, because sometimes, we don't necessarily
Yeah.
think of parents, but they're a great resource for that too. I think you just need to open your mind to every moment and in every corner there it is you should be looking for volunteers on your team. You're
Yeah.
always thinking, inviting people to check out the youth ministry. I think doing an announcement from the pulpit is an okay thing. It's one aspect, one element of getting the word out.
Ooh.
But I think using the leaders that you currently have, I think that is one of the best ways to invite people to your
Sure, so
team
backwards,
is to utilize, the small group leaders and the regular leaders that you already have. They're a great resource.
Yeah.
Have them
Yeah.
find their own co-leader, have them find, someone to lead with them. I think that's huge.
That's a great answer. The problem what you guys didn't talk about is you didn't talk about
The qualities.
yeah. So
Yeah, we
probably-
didn't get to that part.
Well, that's Josh and I.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about what are the good qualities you want in a potential volunteer. And what I'm thinking is you want them to be optimistic. You want them to just have a fun, positive, believing attitude in
Shallow.
the ministry, in the church. That's one. It's the first thing. What do you got, Doug?
I just want them to like teenagers. They don't have to love teenagers. Just love Jesus, like teenagers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
Hey, here's the other thing that we were thinking about as
Yes.
we were going to the bathroom is that we were saying if you notice what is different about Josh and I when we're coming back, other than the relieved look that we feel,
I
the
feel-
first person, don't say it, Katie. It's not for you. We know that you can.
Oh.
Matt already blew it.
Yeah.
Really bugging.
But here's the deal. Is the first person to
I don't know
write
what's
in
different about
the
you.
first person to write in at webshow
At downloadyouthministry.
downloadyouthministry.com that says what's
Let us
different
know.
about Josh or I coming back, we will send you Matt Lawson's new product for free.
Just to you
Wow.
for
First one.
free. And
Bathroom
also
break
Podcast
giveaway.
33. Podcast 33. Use it. Discounts galore. Bye, everybody.
All right. We need to wrap up,
Okay.
Seth says. I'm not sure why, but we love you. See you soon. Bye.